Hi everyone, welcome to Barefoot TV, the show that provides you with easy access to knowledge, wisdom and guidance from myself and experts, leaders and spiritual advisors to support you in transforming, growing and connecting with all things love, soul and spirit in your everyday lives. For those of you watching for the first time, my name's Leanne, the Barefoot Medium. I'm an international medium, channel, twin flame, transformational coach and author who is absolutely passionate about not only reconnecting you with loved ones who've passed over, but providing you with access to practical knowledge, guidance, as well as tools and techniques you can use in your everyday life to embrace what you love and what brings you into connection with your joy so you can be more of your authentic self. Now, kick off your shoes, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode where I am joined by Marie-Claire Tovett, or MC as she's affectionately known, a Canadian relationship coach, certified sexual educator, and a woman on a mission to teach individuals and couples alike about the power of intimacy and communication. She is also the author of The Honeymoon Playbook, a book for both newlyweds and long-term partners alike, teaching couples how to light a romantic fire in their relationships. Not only is Marie-Claire here today to share her story with you all, she's here to talk about intimacy, communication, sex, whatever it is that comes up that's in her field. So welcome, Marie, or MC.
Thank you so much, Leanne. What a nice introduction.
It's a pleasure. And tell everyone, if you can, a little bit about your story and how you've come to be doing what you're doing today.
Well, I've always loved the topic of sexuality. And ever since I've been a teenager, I've always picked up one nonfiction and one fiction. Guess what the nonfiction was? Anything that had to do with sex. I was really curious. And I wanted to really develop my own sexuality and learn about what makes me feel good sexually and in my future relationship. And when I was with somebody, it was really fun because I realized what I was learning was very effective. And and when I became a teacher, and I actually taught sex ed. You know, when other teachers didn't want to teach their sex ed classes, I'll do it. You know, they teach the classes that I didn't want to teach, and I got to teach their sex ed classes, and I just loved it. I actually opened up a school, my own school, a French school in Ottawa. And I actually have 52 teachers in that school now. And I'm semi-retired from that school. And I've been focusing for the last 8 years on my coaching business, and it's going very well. And I'm having so much fun. And my dating business, because I help daters. I help them navigate the whole dating world, which is not easy for them, especially if you've been out of it for a while. So one day I just woke up. I actually meditated one day. And what came out of the meditation, I said, I want an intention for what I really need to do for my second spring. That's like a Chinese medicine term where you really need to do what you love to do in the last part of your life. So I asked myself, what should I do with my second spring? And I meditated on it. And what came out of it, I need to teach sex ed again, but to adults. And that would be so much fun because I'm free, right? You're limited when you're a sex ed teacher at school.
Yeah.
So and I also wanted to improve my own relationship. Like I'm always wanting to, you know, I'm a Gemini and my husband's a Gemini. So we, you know, got twins.
Wow. Two Geminis. My father's a Gemini and my sister's a Gemini. So completely get that. So tell me a little bit, okay, you've shared a little bit about your story there around dating, sex ed, all of that, and the school that you've got. Wow, amazing. And one of the things you said to me as we were stepping into doing this episode is, are you comfortable talking about sex? Right. And I want to pick up on that because, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't. So
that's right.
Talk to me about how you stepped into that field and, you know, how you talk to people about getting comfortable with the topic.
Well, I usually like to use the term intimacy because it's less scary for couples.
Yeah.
And I like them to be, I think before you even think about having sex or want to improve your sexual lives, I think you need to talk to each other and really communicate what you desire, get close, get back to what you loved about each other.
Yeah.
That's really important. Have you ever heard of Gottmans? They're the #1 research therapists right now, and they talk a lot about going back to why you loved each other in the first place.
Yeah.
It's important to get back to that conversation so that you can really get to the point where you found love, right? And ask each other questions like, what did you love about me when we first met? What made you decide that we should get more serious or get married? Other questions. What did we do back then that you loved? Like, what were your three favorite lovemaking scenes that we've had in the past, right?
Yeah.
That's a really good way to start up a conversation if you want to get into sexuality and talk about sex with a partner you haven't talked about it for a while. And you can even ask if you're on a date, you can, well, not on the first date.
Yeah.
You can ask, what are your 3 favorite, ways to make love from what you've learned from the past? That's something you can ask, and it's an exciting conversation that could be really hot in your couple.
Yeah.
And then you can get into asking deeper questions that would really help you to get things hot.
Yeah. And I want to pick up on the difference between intimacy and sex, because there is a connection there, but how do you define intimacy compared to the physical sexual experiences? How do you define that for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's the warm up. It's the simmering, it's the warm up. It's getting everything that goes up to the sexual act. And even making love can be an intimate moment. So even the act of making love can be intimacy, right?
Yeah.
So it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I find intimacy is more of a connecting sounding word. And having sex could mean different things, right? Having sex could mean, I just want to get off tonight. I just want to have sex. It might not mean that you want to get intimate and close and have a deep relationship with a person. I think intimacy is more about that.
Yeah. And I like how you explain that, because for me, intimacy is something about, looking within as well, and your intentions about, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. What are your intentions around connecting? And like you say, it can be just an intention to connect physically and sexually, and that's okay. And that's part of intimacy, is that physical act, but you don't necessarily need to engage in the physical act of sex to be intimate with someone.
Right. And it can go vice versa too, right?
Exactly.
I'm just going to have sex because I just need to release some tension and some pressure. And all of a sudden, you're getting into the person that you're having sex with. So the emotional realm is coming in, and you're digging from the inner self that's being shared with your partner. And the dynamics can change there, right? And you can develop intimacy.
Exactly. And, I also talk about, you mentioned dating and, don't ask those questions on a first date. Talk to me a little bit more about how you engage with your clients around getting back into dating, or how to, connect with people in that realm, and bring in the conversations about intimacy and sex and that sort of thing.
Well, you alluded to it a little bit earlier, Leanne, when you said you've got to really deep dig inside of you first. You've got to really get to know yourself first. A lot of people that come back that haven't dated in a while, they need to look at their past patterns.
Yeah.
And as a coach, I keep them accountable so that they don't get into the past patterns of, attracting the wrong person. Because for women, you want to attract a quality man. For men, you want to attract a quality woman.
Yeah.
This is really important. And with regards to sexuality, I don't really recommend that women or men have sex right away, I really think it's important for you to get to know each other.
Yeah.
It becomes so complicated when you're intimate with somebody because the emotions are different and you're not really in your logic brain.
No.
I think you're in a different space. But most importantly, women need to own their pleasure when they're dating. That is the most important thing. Did you know that 5% of women have an orgasm for first-time hookup sex?
Wow.
And 55% of men. That's way too low.
Wow.
What do we do? We need to have conversations about what we enjoy. Why women are so quick to please men, so quick to get attached. And I'm going to have sex with them. We're going to get connected. But that's really not the way to do it. You get connected emotionally first.
Yeah.
Make sure that this person is the right partner. I check in with my daters with their values. I check and see their patterns. I check and see what their love languages are. I check and see. I do a whole list of things.
Yeah.
And I hold them accountable to make sure that they're going to be investing in a really good quality relationship. Don't just pick the first person that comes along, because a lot of them are feeling desperate and they're feeling like they're lonely. And I understand that. But I do want to give them hope by teaching them, right?
And I really like how you talk about the fact that, you know, what you're attracting in. It's really important to be conscious and aware of that. And just because you attract someone in doesn't mean you have to say, yes, I accept that. They need to be aligned with your values, your beliefs, all of that. So I really like how you talk about that. And I want to bring in, how does one define a quality man or a quality woman that they're attracting in? Because, you know, what's quality for one person may not be quality for the next. And how do we look at that, and how do we define that for ourselves?
Well, a quality person would be somebody that's aligned with your values, right? It would be definitely somebody that you have that. If you have different values, you're going to be, you know, in separate, you know, you're going to be in a separate you're not going to be able to connect, right? That's going to be really, really important. And a quality person would be somebody that is not anxious or an avoidant, like not avoiding phone calls, not anxious about she's not calling me. Like that game has got to go. You know, we've got to get relaxed and have fun and let it be natural. Let it be a natural way of communication. And I coach my daters on how to do that, because it's sometimes hard if you have a more anxious or an avoidant attachment style. So I help them to, how do we get back to self-love here, right? Let's talk about loving yourself right now and getting back to what you need. Because there's issues that come up when you're dating all the time, and your emotions are all over the place, right? And you could go down so fast from having a few dates and the person doesn't call you back. It
comes back to that connection with self and the intimacy that you have with yourself first and foremost, and being conscious and present and aware of when your old patternings, like you talked about. And that's some of the things that I work with clients on as well, is transforming those patterns, whether it's the old stories in the head, or, you know, the old behaviors or wounds around betrayal, abandonment, or whatever sits there from the past, that whether you're conscious of it or not, you may not have completely worked through. So how do you know when that's coming up into your awareness, and how do you move through that and transform it into love or compassion for self or the other person that's involved? You know, whether it's dating or in your romantic relationships, or with any relationships really. What would be some tips that you would offer people to move through that?
Some tips I would offer is to get back to self-love. Always get back to loving yourself. and know what that is and practice that. Practice what self-love would look like. You know, you need to figure that out. And I am a big fan of masturbation.
Okay. And awesome.
I call it mindful masturbation.
Okay.
Because that is the core of your soul. When you're masturbating, when you have it, it's not just about the orgasm either. It's about the whole process and your self-talk. You know, that's really important. And to touch yourself and to mindfully really feel your body when you're preparing yourself.
Yeah.
Really touch yourself and feel the love that you're giving yourself. Really feel the loving connection.
Yeah.
And talk about the parts of your body that you love and why you love them. We're so judgmental of our bodies, right? And we're so getting back to our bodies, getting back to the sensations of what we're feeling when we're touching ourselves. And I think it's important to tease ourselves and to like do what we do when we make love, right? Tease yourself. Don't go right. Don't take that vibrator out. Use your hand, right? Don't take the vibrator. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to, no, it's about slowing it down.
Yeah.
Touch yourself and affirming yourself and say how you love yourself. I think this is probably one of the most healing ways to love yourself. And it's also a really good way for men and women to heal their partners.
Yeah.
Because when you're giving an Om massage or a penis or a vulva massage to your partner, so many people, especially women, we end up crying because the onion layer is peeling off because we're releasing so much from the past.
Yeah.
Just through lovemaking. I find it so powerful.
Yeah.
And I coach my couples and my daters how to do that. It's really important to get intimate with yourself first and to release.
And I want to pick up on you talking about self-love and also, pleasure, which is exactly what you're talking about, whether it's self-love or love for partner or whoever. Or whether it's pleasure for self and pleasure for partner. Mm-hmm. How do you know what love is for you or pleasure is for you? And how can you communicate that and express your needs, wants, and desires if you're not in connection with yourself? And so what I often talk about with clients and, for myself is, what does love look like, sound like, and feel like for you?
That's exactly what my whole book is about. Okay. It's not just for honeymooners. It's for anybody that really wants to get to know themselves and communicate that to their partner. Yeah. It's actually, I call it a playbook. It's a workbook, but I call it a playbook because I don't believe it's work. Sex is not work. It's play, right?
Yeah, and it needs to be fun and pleasurable and joyful and loving and kind and non-judgmental, like you talked about. And and I think for a lot of women in particular, and society kind of, and I love that you do the sex education and talking about this, because a lot of women aren't taught how to allow themselves to receive love or pleasure or joy or whatever it might be, whether it's around normal everyday life or sex or relationship connections and dating. How do we receive rather than giving? Because we're often, taught to be that nurturer, that giver, how do we allow ourselves to sit back and go, no, I'm going to receive?
Well, that is such a good question. In my Tantra workshops, I do an activity where I separate the group in half, and the women receive pleasure by all kinds of sensate, focused, pleasurable things that women can do for each other. Feather touch, massages. And the women say that it's really easy for them to give, and it's really hard for them to receive. So I've seen that in my workshops. And I think it's a lot about us really opening ourselves up. Our mothers have taught us that, our fathers have taught us that, right? It comes from, we really need to open ourselves up and feel
Yeah.
You deserve this. You deserve the connection. You deserve, and that 5% of women that orgasm for first time hookup sex is proof of that.
Yeah.
It's proof that women are really not, they're always ready to give and they're not receiving, right? They're not working on receiving.
No.
And what you're saying and the work that you do, Leanne, does help them with that, because they get into their bodies, they get into past patterns, they can let go of all of those things. Open yourself up so that you can really, really honor you at a soul cellular level.
Yeah.
You know, open yourself up. That this is the work that I do also, you know, really finding ways to get in there.
Yeah.
Love you. I have my clients do a lot of bucket list things, like pleasurable things that you want to do. Forget about what your man wants to do. What do you want to do for you?
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were 7 years old? Were you dancing? Because maybe that's what you should be doing right now. Were you playing outside? Maybe you should be playing outside. Were you doing crafts? Maybe you need to paint, right? What were you doing as a child before people were telling you should do this, you should do that?
Yeah.
That's how you receive.
Exactly.
You receive. Yeah.
And that's how we work out, you know, what is love and pleasure or whatever look like, sound like, and feel like for us. It might be going to the beach for the day. It might be going and to a dance class or going dancing or moving your body or exercising or eating beautiful food and the pleasure of that comes with it, as well as, you know, enjoying your bodies and allowing yourself to feel your body as the beautiful gift that it is, no matter what it looks like. You know, we all have a physical vessel that we're in this lifetime, and, you know, how we talk to our bodies has an impact on how much we love ourselves or how much pleasure we allow ourselves to receive. And, you know, from a physical perspective, women are made to receive.
Exactly.
And men are made to give.
Yeah,
you know,
we're nurturing souls, aren't we?
And that's, you know, the creation energy when we talk manifesting as well is giving and receiving. And we need that feminine and masculine energy in order to do that.
Yes, it'll keep us much more balanced and happier and more connected.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I love that. If you could give people who are watching today 3 tips for allowing themselves to receive love, pleasure, joy, whatever in their lives, what would you share?
My number one tip, you've heard of the 5 love languages, right?
I have.
Well, the one, everybody needs all 5. I don't know. Everybody needs as much love as you can get in every way you can get. And the number one way that I say that we can receive love is through physical touch. Through when you're giving somebody a massage, especially a sensual massage, you're really able to touch a person at a very, very deep level. Because when you're giving somebody a massage, you're not in your mind anymore. You're more in your body.
Yeah.
Especially if you talk while the person's massaging you, you can get them to focus on their breath. Get them to focus on the sensation of me touching you. Feel the love that I'm giving you right now through my hands.
Yeah.
Feel the connection and the love that I'm sending to you right now. You're not going to be thinking of your to-do list, honey, if you do that. You're not going to be thinking about anything but what that person is asking you to focus on.
Yeah.
And then if you make that, you know, anybody who's having kind of any libido issues or deal through it through physical touch, massage the person and tease them, get close to their erogenous zones, or if they just ask them if they just want to be touched today. No expectations.
Yeah.
You just want me to touch you so you can feel the connection that we have together. Ask them, talk to them. So the second thing that I would have to say would be make every single day an important time don't let every day go by without connecting with yourself, with your partner. Every single day needs to be a focused time to connect. By simmering your partner is a really good way to do it. So simmering is all about from the time you wake up in the morning, you could be massaging your partner's feet, kissing them in the neck. Not because you want sex, it's because right now it's because you're simmering them.
Yeah.
And maybe later on you can have sex because you're simmering them for something that you might want to do to connect more later.
Yeah.
Send them a sexy note, they open their laptop up and they're at work and they're reading like a really cute note from you that says a poem or anything. I'm thinking about you today. I have a sexy surprise for you tonight when you come home. Call me 5 minutes before you get home. Take a really cute picture. You're at Victoria's Secret. You make a trip to Victoria's Secret and you're taking a picture of what little sexy outfit you're going to show them tonight that you're buying for them.
Yeah, nice.
Take a picture and send them while they're at the office. And for a lot of women, they have a hard time getting into lovemaking if there's a big mess in the house. Like if they've got so much to do, kids, all that. If a man or even sometimes a woman has, it could be vice versa.
Yeah.
If they pitch in and work together, it makes them feel sexy. It makes them feel connected. This is also simmering, right?
Yeah.
It's a way to really connect. And my husband and I we play games. Like we have this game where I call him, I give him a sexy note 5 minutes before he gets home or 2 minutes before he gets home. He comes in the house. I have a note and a gun. Don't worry. It's a water gun. Yeah. And on a note it says, I've got the same thing. I've got my artillery all set. My water's all set. And then he's looking all over the house for me. I find him, I get him. And we're chasing each other all over the house. I have a sexy white t-shirt so we can, have the visual, which men love. We go outside, we roll in the grass and we have fun because the house is totally wet. This is simmering. You need to do this. You need to do this kind of thing on a daily basis. Yeah. And I have a lot of these games, really fun games for you to do with your partner in Honeymoon Playbook. Yeah. And I have to say the third thing would be, let me see. So probably play more, which is what I just talked about. We need to get into our inner child and we need to play more. We need to have more fun in our couple. Yeah. And we need to, think back how you were as a child. Like we're so busy. We've got so much to do all the time. Take 5 minutes to play, joke, tease, pinch your partner when they walk by. Do those fun little playful things. Stop the cooking. Put on a sexy song. Do a little sexy dance for your partner or bring him close to you and dance slow and have a deep kiss. Kissing's so important. We're forgetting to kiss today. And it's proving that we're having issues in our couple if we forget to kiss. Yeah. So, that's really important. So those are the three things that I would say would really help to build connection and, help you have more fun yourself in your life, right? Yeah, exactly. Do those resonate with you, Leanne? They do. And I love how you bring in the playfulness and the, having more fun with in life and connecting more. And, physical touch is really important with the love languages, and how we each communicate with each other is really important because we all speak a different language, and it's important to learn and understand what each person we're interacting with in our partnerships, relationships, connections, what that looks like, sounds like and feels like for them too, so that we can play and have more fun and connect more in, loving, joyful, pleasurable ways, whether that includes physical sex or not. It's a part of everyday life. So thank you for sharing all of that and for connecting with me today and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. Can you share with people where they can connect with you further if they'd like more information about what you do? Sure. The name of my company is relationshipbliss.ca because I'm from Canada. And I also work a lot with couples in business. So if you're a couple that's in business, because I've had this business for 25 years with my partner,
Okay.
And being a relationship coach, that's a really good combination. So I've been able to help couples in business. So they can find me at relationshipbliss.ca. You can find my book at honeymoonplaybook.com. And I'm on Facebook at Relationship Bliss also. And if anybody wants some help, reach out to me. I'd love to help you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for connecting and for sharing that with us today. And for those of you who are watching and would like to connect with me further, I'm Leanne, the Barefoot Medium. Jump on my website, thebarefootmedium.com.au, and check out my readings, as well as my transformational coaching programs and retreats and all that I have to offer there. Until next time, remember to kick off those shoes, connect with the earth, and connect with your authentic self. Play, have fun, connect with who you are, and get intimate with you. Thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting in the next episode of Barefoot TV.